Whew. I hate to tell you this, but YouTube burnout is real.
The struggle is real.
Whether you're a small creator or a big creator, every YouTube creator will inevitably hit burnout. Unless you watch this video. And I'm gonna teach you how to beat the YouTube algorithm.
Let's do this.
What's up, y'all? It's Joe Master Lee, here to help you level up like a boss. Now I am finally back from a long extended break from YouTube after a near career-ending injury of carpal tunnels. I mean, it got so bad that no matter what I was doing with this hand, there would just be a shooting pain up and down my wrist. That's all because a couple of weeks ago, America's Got Talent finale was on, and I doubled out and created a lot of content around that show.
Ew.
That means one of them didn't make it to the top 5.
Kidding me? Really?
I had my original expose series I was making around that, plus all the reaction I was doing to all the acts, and cranking out about a dozen videos a week. And that did me in. The non-stop work around that basically, well, resulted in a scenario where I'm hoping there's no permanent damage, but even to this day, there's still pain. So I'm not fully back 100%. But in a way, I'm really glad this happened because I was on a path towards burnout. Now the thing is that I've always been able to overcome it in the past. After all, I spent decades starting up new ventures, startup companies that pretty much consume your life, where you work on it 24/7 all the time. You just put your heart and soul into something like that. And YouTube burnout is very similar. It is non-stop once you get started on it, especially if you decide to make it a full-time thing. And this time, I don't have the classic symptoms of what burnout is. In other words, I didn't have mental exhaustion just yet. I haven't developed the cynicism towards YouTube. I still love it a great deal, have so many ideas of things I still want to work on, and it hadn't become inefficient. I've been able to cut down my production time to be able to create more videos, but having enough physical pain where basically my whole body shuts down, I'm unable to work for an extended period of time, I think is probably one of the telltale signs that burnout is coming. And the only result of something like that is you basically walk away from something that you once really loved doing. And we've seen this with a number of really big YouTubers out there, whether it's Ellie from the Mills.
This is all I ever wanted. And why the am I so unhappy? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Because, like, this is literally my dream. And I'm so unhappy. It doesn't make any sense.
Or even someone like Casey Neistat, who used to post daily vlogs and has basically whittled down his production schedule from about 7 videos to 6, 3, 5, 4. Some months this past year, he literally didn't post 1 video up. Now I realize a number of you out there probably don't give 2 wits about YouTuber burnout, because so many of these sensationalized stories of YouTubers who just flat out quit or say they can't take it anymore come from very successful YouTubers who have made millions of dollars making videos. Why should you feel sympathy for someone who has basically created a career they love doing or complaining that they can't take any time off? It's one of those ironic scenarios where you can really relate to these YouTubers because they're basically putting their life out there in public, so you can really develop a close relationship with them. But at the same time, you really can't relate to the predicament they're in.
But I'm not getting nobody's listening. Nobody's.
After all, if you're a YouTuber, can't you control the amount of time you put into making a YouTube? Just take a break. Sure, you have the financial ability to do so. Hire people to do your work for you. So I'm here to break down with you why burnout is inevitable and ultimately what you could do about it. Now, the biggest problem right now with the YouTube burnout situation is that so many of us are ultimately beholden to an algorithm that we don't actually know exactly how it works. But for the most part, the most successful YouTubers understand it enough to be able to capitalize on it, meaning that they're able to generate a lot of views, get a lot of subscribers, and get to the top of the YouTube trending because they know what people want to watch. And I think what people ultimately do see with what's happening with the YouTube algorithm is that it's designed to basically promote the latest thing to get people to watch things on a daily basis. You constantly are getting served up new videos every single day because the things that you saw yesterday was, well, yesterday's news. And having launched a number of different channels this past year to kind of test how long the YouTube algorithm promotes you, it's become pretty evident that you have about 2 days of active promotion from the YouTube algorithm, meaning that the majority of your views are going to come from those first 2 days. In fact, I would say the majority actually comes from that very first day, the first 24 hours, with a secondary batch of views coming from the second day with a long tail after that. Which means that if you make a video once a week, you're basically getting 1 day promotion and then 6 days of declining views. So the YouTubers who recognize how to capitalize on this go, well, I should try to produce content every single day. And I'll tell you, YouTubers will watch you every single day. And the problem with this scenario is that there's only certain types of content on YouTube that allows you to have a sustained ability to do daily videos, whether it's news commentary, vlogs, reaction videos.
Forget about it.
Things that are very easy to produce, things that have very low production time. But the problem with that scenario is that there's a lot of different types of content out there where you can't go daily. And the YouTubers that are most in danger are the ones that they think that they can crank out more content to get as close to a daily cadence as they can. Even if it's 2 or 3 times a week, chances are this is content that they're cranking out constantly non-stop and basically trying to satiate that scenario. So already the 2 biggest issues that drive burnout are already in play. One is that exhaustion is coming in. The fact that you really can't take a break, or maybe that you tell yourself you don't want to take a break, right? After all, you're in the grind. A lot of YouTubers are younger. They feel like, well, this is my chance to grow quickly. Let me see what I can do here. The problem is that the human condition was never designed to be able to survive how the YouTube algorithm works. In other words, the YouTube algorithm was never designed for one person to be able to keep their viewers satiated. The YouTube algorithm is 100% designed for how much content a viewer can handle, not how much a creator can handle.
To monopolize human attention by any means necessary. That is their business.
And this is the one thing that YouTube has continued to move away from, supporting creators versus supporting the viewers. For all you creators out there, you already know how having a big subscriber base really doesn't matter anymore. The fact that viewers will now land on YouTube and actually don't see your videos, even if they subscribe to you, is an indication of that. YouTube has created a homepage where it's recommending a bunch of different things, including stuff that people didn't subscribe to, because they realize this is the kind of stuff that get people back every single day. So for YouTube creators to think that they can keep up with this in the long run, this marathon, well, inevitably, that's how burnout happens.
I can't do this.
Which leads to the second reason why burnout is inevitable here. When people start to feel like they have no control over their destiny, they start to give up. The frustration I hear for so many of these large YouTubers in terms of, well, I created this beautiful video, spent a lot of time on it, and then the YouTube algorithm still doesn't promote it, or I get demonetized. Like, that's frustrating, and that's something they can't even control. There was no indication before they even made the video that case was going to happen. And if that happens enough times, people start to feel like they can't control their destiny. And I can tell you, it doesn't matter if you're a YouTuber or if you're in a workplace. When you start to feel like what you tell your boss is ignored and your ideas are not factored in, no matter what you do, you can't affect the outcome, you get disenfranchised, which leads to burnout. And then the third thing that ultimately leads to burnout is that the rewards that YouTube is giving you doesn't do it for you anymore. And I think this tends to happen with a lot of big YouTubers because the numbers that they're playing with their subscribers and their views and the money they earn just becomes a big number at some point. So having that gradual tick up as you grow no longer does it for you. Like when you're a small YouTuber going from 100 subscribers to 200,
Oh my god!
growing to 1,000,
Oh yeah!
10 million to 11 million,
Oh,
12 million,
boring.
it feels very incremental to someone who's that large. And at some point when you realize your whole YouTube career was chasing those metrics and you realize it doesn't do it for you anymore, and if you don't have some other thing that you do that feels rewarding, you ultimately are going to burn out. And the sad thing about this scenario and why it's inevitable is that so many YouTubers actually feel like they're very lonely when they're dealing with this type of situation. I mean, most of the big YouTubers live a very isolated lifestyle. including me, now that I'm doing this full time. I'm realizing I'm spending most of my time trying to write scripts, trying to shoot, trying to edit, and it's not a collaborative process for the most part. I'm really glad I'm doing this with my wifey, Lulu. What the blazes is this attire? Because I think I would have gone bonkers by now doing this by myself. You look like a reject for a Ronald McDonald impersonator. We are inherently social animals, and when we're denied that social interaction, even though we're getting this interaction from our viewers, not seeing people, touching people, hearing them live is one of those things that ultimately make you feel like, man, this isn't worth it. I'm just lonely doing this. I'm suffering as well, and the things that you suffer through start to feel like greater weight on you. Now I'm painting a grim picture of YouTuber burnout and why it becomes inevitable for so many creators. But there is a way to overcome this. Don't be like me and reach a point where it may be too late. And I'm gonna share with you that secret of how to beat burnout in my next video. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. And if you think this video is insightful and it would be a benefit for other creators, leave a like as well so that other creators know that they are not suffering alone.